Alright, and here is the video review for the Ninja Turtles LARP Turtles, the live-action roleplay Ninja Turtles from the episode Mazes and Mutants, which aired earlier this season, in which they were abducted by a Pee Wee Herman-voiced owl mutant and forced to play a game of Mazes and Mutants in the sewer, which all took place on the mental plane. That's spoilers, but you should have watched the season by now. So anyway, but yeah, so here they are in their LARP costumes that they clearly made themselves in the sewers. Mikey's got a little paper hat with some elf ears, a bow and a quiver, and a little tunic. Leonardo has his belt, his garbage can lid, a sword, and his very Galactus-esque helmet. Here made out of a tin can, made out of, a coffee can or something like that. Raphael's got his furry barbarian outfit, along with an axe and a soup strainer, or salad strainer colander, Viking helmet. And Donatello has his wizard robes and beard and hat, and his staff with the little shaky snow globe on top to represent his mystical powers, and his wizard hat. Now they're all kind of fun. If they hadn't shown up in the show, I probably would have bought these. These are one of the few that I probably would have bought had they not shown up in the show, because if you remember, the original Ninja Turtles line had a lot of Star Trek turtles and alter ego turtles and all sorts of variations on the turtles, baseball player turtles and such. And so it was nice to see the line go in kind of that theme direction with the LARP turtles, and then even cooler to see them actually show up on the show itself, which is really neat. Now they all come with some sort of head accessory and a weapon. Leonardo actually gets two weapons, because if you count there are two accessories since you count the shield. So Mikey's ears come off, and you can remove his bow. And there's Mikey just in his regular outfit. Leonardo has kind of a soft rubber cape with a ducky on the back. It's like a bath towel. His helmet comes off, and then what's nice is the ones with helmets have cutouts to fit their bandanas, their masks in the back, and some gauntlet armor. I'm just going to pull all the accessories off these guys here, and then we'll go over the articulation on the figures. Raphael's helmet comes off, and again, he's got a little slit in the back of it to go over his knot. His axe, and then Donatello has his staff, which just comes right out. And then again, he actually has a slit back here that you can put around his around the knot on his mask, but you kind of don't want to make it all sit properly. If you pull that up, it makes the hat sit all weird. But it is there if you try, if you want to use it to hold it in place. But the whole hat and beard is one piece of soft rubber that comes off. It looks like it's purple plastic painted. Yeah, it's purple plastic painted, with the beards and the medallion are painted as well. This is a little detail here up on the top. So here are the figures themselves, and they're a little. Donatello, I think, is the most disappointing of the bunch, because he's this isn't a soft, unlike Leonardo's cape, this isn't a soft rubbery towel. This is all hard hollow plastic. His whole torso is it may be two pieces glued together. Actually, you can kind of see a seam where it's glued together, but it's. And I think the shell may be then glued in on top of that. Because, yeah, the shell is actually a soft rubber glued in on top of the body. But the torso is one solid hollow chunk. There's no give to the coat. It's just, he does have a ball joint for his neck, which is nice. But this whole piece is just one solid chunk. And even the arms, the sleeves, there's a hinge up here, and they're molded at an angle. You can twist his wrist right here, but that's the articulation there. There's no elbow joint or anything. This is all also one solid piece for each arm. The legs are standard legs with the twist and the hinge, a little hollow on the bottom, but same posability of the legs as most of the Ninja Turtle figures have gotten in the leg department. But just having that big, just having this not be a soft rubbery plastic like Leonardo's cape is kind of makes me sad, because there's not a whole, you can't compress it or compact it, and again, it makes him feel kind of cheap, because it's just, like I said, this hollow chunk. I like the look of him, especially when he's got his wizard head on. I really dig Donnie's wizard look. It does make for a neat display piece. I just wish maybe there was a little bit more. His arms, these joints up here are really loose, so it's kind of floppy, getting him to hold his staff up. And you might be able to fix that a little bit if he had an elbow joint but you're kind of stuck with wherever that lies. There are ways to tighten that up. I haven't done it yet, but again, just slightly disappointing at just how much of a solid chunk Donatello is. But like I said, overall, I do think he's one of my favorite designs with the hat and the beard and the staff. So it's kind of a trade-off. Raphael also has a solid body, chunk body, but just because of the way it's molded, he does get elbows, and you do get a little bit more range of motion. He's a little limited, especially over here. Like, I don't know why they made some of these outfits so thick out to the sides, like why they made this so deep. I feel like they could have sculpted this a little smaller around his body and given his arms a little bit more natural, relaxed pose. But again, it is what it is. And again, hollow feet and all that. But same type of joints in the legs as previous turtles. But slightly, again, the arms are limited in their up and down motion just due to the size of the bulk of the costume. And again, his little hat just goes on, his helmet goes on just like that, and you can slide the axe into his hand. Here's Leonardo. And again, he's got the soft plastic cape, which is nice. I think if you pop his head off, you can actually pop the whole cape off. Yeah, so you can get him to look the most like a regular Ninja Turtle. Although if you do that, it's a shame because, again, I don't know why they made this belt so thick around his body. You can see here's his shell, and you can see where the side of his shell would be, and even where the front of his shell would be. I don't know why they made this so thick and chunky. They could have made the same belt design much thinner and up against his body, which would have left him with much more natural arm poses. As it is, that's about as low down as they go, and I just feel like that was kind of silly to make those details so thick out that way when really, even if they were this tall and right up against his body, you'd still see them as much. But again, it is what it is. Arms have the same articulation, does have wrist swivels as well on top of the elbow joints and shoulder joints, and Raphael does as well. And then he's got that, and that, and that. Yep, come on, go back on there. And then Mikey has his, again, solid chunk body, but because of the way it's built, I keep feeling like this sleeve is backwards, but it's not, because if this were molded the other way, it'd be able to go down into his body a little bit better and give him the most natural, relaxed position on the arms possible, but they didn't. And it's not the same arm, so it's not swapped. I tried swapping them, and it doesn't work that way, so just a weird sculpt choice there on the sleeves. He's got the elf ears that go right on over, and he can hold his arrow, and there you have Mikey. There he's got the same range of movement in the legs with the swivels and everything. Hollow feet again, but for the most part, pretty solid. Overall, they're a very fun set of turtles. I like them a lot, and I'm glad they went ahead and did them, especially since they did show up on the show. They're some of those old original Ninja Turtle gimmick lines or theme lines were some of my favorite figures as a kid. So to see them return in the new line is nice. I kind of hope they get around to doing more turtles in more alternate outfits, whether they show up on the show or not. But the fact that these guys did was also like a huge bonus. So there they are. There are the LARP turtles, the live-action roleplay turtles. They should be hitting stores. They've been out for a while now. I've been finding them at both Walmart and Target. And have I seen them at Toys R Us? Yeah, I think I may have seen them at Toys R Us as well. So keep your eyes out for the Ninja Turtles LARP turtles.